Good day, everyone, and welcome to another exciting vocab lesson. This is Mr. Stitt, and today we're going to go over week 21 for my 8th grade students. Now, here's a list of the words: keg, trifle, earthen, burble, whiff, and wheeze. So let's jump into the words and find out what they mean this week. The first word this week is keg. Keg. You're probably very familiar with this word. You've probably seen them in movies, and it's a noun, so it's a thing. And it's like in this image here, a small cask or barrel, usually holding from 5 to 10 gallons. Now, kegs are famous throughout time and history for preserving wine and other alcoholic beverages, but they also used to store other items like food and for various purposes. But specifically, they're used for wine. And they're very heavy. They're very strong. Some people even turn them into different types of furniture, like tables and different purposes. They pull apart the kegs and use them for different purposes. So synonyms of this would be cask, container, drum. I put container twice, sorry about that. Barrel and vat. Keg. The next word this week is trifle. Trifle. Now this is a noun, so it's a thing, but it's an article or thing of very little value. It can also be a matter, affair, or circumstance of trivial importance or significance. A small, inconsiderable, or trifling sum of money. So anytime you're maybe walking through a thrift store or you're walking through any sort of store, but there's like these little teeny tiny objects that are maybe not very much money, those are trifle things. We're not talking about a Rolex watch here. We're not talking about a Bugatti sports car, okay? Those are very expensive items. But something that's trifle might be something that you find at the Target dollar spot or at Dollar Tree, the store. Just little tiny items that you might purchase for fun or you might give as a toy to a young child. Those are trifle items. So synonyms of this would be nothingness, novelty, knick-knack, or trinket. Trifle. The next word this week is earthen. Earthen. Now this is an adjective, so it describes something, and it means composed of earth. So in the most obvious sense, an earthen thing is dirt. Dirt is very earthen. It's composed of earth. It smells like rich, dark soil. But there's a lot of things that we could describe as earthen. A blanket could be very earthen if it's woven together with very fine threads that just feel rough like the earth. A lot of people call jars or pottery earthen because they're made out of clay, which comes from the earth, and they have a very natural feel. Really, anything that feels natural, looks natural, has a rich texture, that is called something earthen. So synonyms of earthen would be natural, made of the earth, and organic. Earthen. The next word this week is burble. Burble. And it's a verb, but it can also be a noun because it's a sound. And burble is when something makes a bubbling sound, or bubble, 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 bubble. So you know that sound you hear when a bubble machine's going off, or maybe a bubble bath is going and you hear bloop, 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 bloop. That's a burble sound. It means to speak in an excited manner as well. So somebody who has a bubbly personality, someone who's very energetic, they're also known to be called burbly or have a burble sound to them. So synonyms would be babble, bubble, chatter, gabber, and yak. Burble. The next word this week you're probably very familiar with, and that is whiff. Whiff. And it's kind of a noun, but it's also a verb. It's something that you do. So as you can see in the image here, this man is whiffing some sort of plant, or maybe that's an herb of some kind. And it's a slight gust or puff of wind, air, vapor, smoke, or the like. A slight trace of odor or smell. So when you catch a whiff of something on the air, that whiff is a noun. So it's something that passes by you. But you also can whiff in like a verb, in a verb sense, an action. So say you're walking through the mall and you catch a whiff of something that's coming from the food court. That whiff, that smell is delicious. Maybe it's those Auntie Anne pretzels that you smell in the mall. Or maybe you walk by Bath and Body Works and you get a whiff of some of the perfumed items and candles. You're catching a whiff. So synonyms of whiff would be aroma, breath, odor, scent, and waft. The next word this week is wheeze. Wheeze, and you're probably very familiar with this word as well. If you've ever had a cold or a cough, and it's a verb, so it's an action, and it means to breathe with difficulty and with a whistling sound, like have you ever heard somebody cough that way, where it had that weird whistly sound? That's kind of a wheeze. And it also means to make a sound resembling difficult breathing. So anytime someone's having a hard time breathing, that's a wheeze. So synonyms of this would be cough, gasp, hiss, rasp, and snore. Wheeze. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. Here's a list of the week 21 words for my 8th grade students, and they are keg, trifle, earthen, burble, whiff, and wheeze. Thanks again for joining us. I hope to see you next time. Bye.